Hello gorgeous people, love the scraps, far from Australia. Have a project here to share with you guys. I've been really busy, just haven't been able to really share any projects with you all, and I have created many projects that are yet to be uploaded for swaps or for like projects that I've created for Annie. I've created projects for Janet and projects that I have created for Janelle also, who I'm sending out. So lots and lots of projects to share with you guys, and today I'll be sharing this beautiful project that was inspired by a fellow crafter who only blogs. She doesn't do any YouTube videos like we do, but she has a wonderful blog, and her blog, I think it's pronounced Susie Quills Threadworks, I'm not sure, but I'll pop the link to her blog down below so you guys can go and check out the amazing talent that these crafters do. They inspire you so much, and they do a lot of work that involves fabric, collages, lots and lots of fabric pretty much. And I love fabric, I love laces, love the different textures of lace, not lace, I mean fabric, the patterns and all that, and just really intrigued me the way that they incorporate these into their projects. So like I mentioned, I haven't been into paper a lot lately. I've just been mesmerized by just fabric. I've always loved fabric, but just recently in the past 6 months I've gotten to know fabric a lot more than I have in the past. So as I mentioned, this project has been inspired by Susie, and I'll pop Susie's blog below so you guys can go and check her out and see the amazing work that she does. And it's a bird inspired altered box, as well as a fabric lace journal that I have created to go on the inside of this box. And this particular box here is just a regular shoe box that I have altered, and this is the natural color of the shoe box. So it's already in this dark mocha coffee colored already, so I didn't alter the bottom because it was the right color and it's already perfect, so I left it as is. And on the box here, I'll show you guys how I altered the box before I show you guys the mini album fabric journal that's inside. So I mentioned the bottom I left as is. On the side here, I've used two kinds of different fabric from my stash. This beautiful cotton fabric with dark colored roses on here, as well as green leaves, and here's just some upholstery fabric that I was able to find at the upholstery store where they sell like samples and stuff like that. So I kind of like did a collage with the two together there, going on to the side here, and then a whole full length of that one on this side, and then a little bit in the corner here, and then back to the other side again. So a combination of the mixed two fabrics, and then in amongst them I gathered with a needle and thread and some we call it muslin here, but you guys might call it gauze in your country. I've actually sprayed this with Lindy Stain Gang and let me see, hold on, I had to go and get the spray bottles because I can't remember the colors exactly, but by Lindy Stamp Gang I used these two color combinations throughout the fabric journal, as well as on the colors of the lace on top here, and I will share with you guys in detail in a minute. But these are the two colors that I've used to achieve the dye color on the laces. This one here is called Sea Mint Green, and it's a starburst spray, and this one here is a Moon Shadow Mist, and it's called Mystic Malachite, that one there. The Sea Mint Green gives it a beautiful green tone, and then the Mystic Malachite is like a dark brown color with a bit of green in it also, so it gives it this beautiful I don't know, just vintage color to it that's really lovely. I sprayed a little bit of the green first. I start with the lighter color, and then I added the Misty Malachite, which is the darker color, afterwards in random areas to give it like a tea dye sort of color effect. And that's what I used to color this lace here, as well as the lace, the crochet inner part here on the flower there also. So as well as to change the color of the ruffles that I have stitched onto here. So a combination of those two colors, I just sprayed them with the two mixed colors, and it just gave it this really beautiful vintage tone, like a green brownish sort of color. As you can see here, some areas are darker, some areas are lighter, so it's good to give a bit of light and shade to do my altered box here. So with a needle and thread, once I gathered the fabric in random areas, I stitch this brown stitching, like embroidery work in the center here. I'll zoom in. Okay, so as you guys see there, I learned this technique from a magazine, I think an embroidery magazine, and it's just by doing different loops. And then from there, on the mini album, I was able to bead the beads in while I was stitching, but because I've already used hot glue on the bottom here to adhere the two different colored fabrics, it was quite difficult, and the angle was quite difficult, as well as the beading needle was quite small. It wasn't able to bend through the box, so the only option I had to do was just hot glue the beads on the altered box here. So I hot glue the beads on here after I had did the embroidery stitch to hold the muslin in place like this. Okay, so I've added that on random places, one on that corner, one on this smaller corner here, and on this one here also, and on this side here. So it just gives texture and dimension to my altered box, and you can add this to any altered box that you like. It doesn't have to be this color, it can be anything you like, and it just, you know, just adds dimension and texture also to your altered box. Down the bottom here, I've added some dark green Chinese skip braid. I got it from Spotlight. They had a clearance sale on these, and this is from my stash. It's just some vintage heart trim from my stash, and wherever there's this pattern green, this floral pattern, I added the green. Wherever there's this dark fabric, I added the white throughout the whole box. So it's a really nice collage of different textures, fabrics, and prints. They all just come together really well. On the top here, I've chosen to go with this layout. This layout is actually a page from the mini album, or the fabric journal that's inside it also. I really liked it, and I wanted to incorporate it onto my cover of my altered box here. To start off with the base of my altered box, I lined the box with a hot glued calico, or you guys call it muslin, on top, cut it to size, glued that on top, and then I collage or laid a the same size lace piece of fabric on top of that also. And then from there I just went on to layering my images first. I had printed this. I think these were all off Pinterest or Google. I'm not really sure exactly now, because it's been a while since I was searching for these images to use. And I printed onto cotton transfer fabric, and then I zigzag stitched onto this particular fabric here from my stash that's got like gold threading, as well as a dark like green. It's not really dark, it's like a sea mint green also. It's got stripes going up and down, and I've just roughly cut the edges here just to give it a bit of fray up here, just to give it some texture. And then I zigzagged those two together, and then I had adhere that down onto the background, which is the calico and the lace. And then from there I just went on to layering all the different trims and embellishments that I had from my stash. Made a little nest, kind of like out of fabric here, that I just like scrunched up, hot glued down, used some buttons to form like something that mimics like a nest. Use different trims from my stash here. This is a frog feathers trim that I purchased long time ago. Some embroidered trim from my stash. Just some random pieces of scrap. These particular projects are great to use your scraps on. You can just stick anything down pretty much, and it was just all blend together. Here's another piece of scrap fabric from my stash, and I just adhere that down, layered all this piece of laces, layered a crochet lace underneath here going across, layered this particular crochet lace or table runner, I think, that had this pattern on top of that. And then on top of that I had sprayed this synthetic lace with the two color combinations also, and the color just took to it differently than what cotton would be. Synthetics don't take the color as well as cotton fabrics. They take color a lot better than your synthetic fabrics, and it's good to add different color tones to your project. It just softens it up without being too overpowering. So all the different lights and shades here just makes everything blend together. On top of that one, I had used this particular crochet lace from my stash that was from a doily, and I just cut 3 parts of the triangles, and after I sprayed it with the 2 colors that I mentioned at the start of the video, I had adhered those down and then used some metal finding flowers from my stash. So this is 3 metal finding flowers from my stash, and I just hot glued those down. I haven't put any centers in them yet because, you know, this particular project I didn't want to use too many pearls. It just wasn't like a big pearl project for me. So in random parts of the project, like the fabric journal, I did use a few, I think, but on this box here I try not to use pearls on here whatsoever. So that's what it looks like there, and the different layers of lace. So see, they're my 2 base fabrics that I mentioned. Then here's the layering on the side here. This is just a piece of scrap from an edging of the crochet trim. This is my nest. Okay, and here's my handmade flower that I made using the previous tutorial that I have showed you guys on how to make a simple shabby chic flower. Very, very simple. Just gather some lace, adhere a doily on the bottom, the lace on top, and then this little applique flower on top of that, and then another cutout from a small doily onto here, and then a mother of pearl button in the center. And I had sprayed these laces with the same spray also, and again, like I mentioned, because they're synthetic, they take the color differently to what a cotton lace would. And here I've just made bow with some jute twine, as well as seam binding that I have tea dyed, and some calico that I've tied into a bow and adhere it here. And then from that bow I've actually dangled an Art of Cake charm, which is the lioness door knocker, I think that's what it's called. And I got these I got Bonnie to buy these for me a while ago, so thank you so much, Bonnie. And it just went together really, really well. Down here is a filigree, a flower filigree that Linda has shared with me. Thank you, Linda. It just came together really, really beautifully. And here's just a trim that I purchased from the, oops, sorry, out of frame, like a dark brown trim that I purchased from my local craft store. And I've just added a sentiment onto this box, and it just says no bird soars too high if he soars with his own wings. So I've just added that, printed out onto my printer, and then just cut it out and then inked it with tea, I think it's just called tea dye or something, Distress Inks by Tim Holtz, and stitched on my sewing machine, and then just hot glue those down, and just use some random laces at the top here also. And that is pretty much my box, and some lace on the side here, and here's just a little print out of a moth that I've added on there, some bling from my stash, and some metal corner embellishments there also. So that is the box. So let's go and show with you guys the fabric lace journal on the inside. Okay, let's go have a look at the inside of my altered box, which holds my fabric lace journal. I haven't done anything pretty much towards the inside of the lid, because if you put too much in it, it won't close properly. So I've just left it as is at the moment. Maybe later on, when I feel like it, I might just line it with calico fabric, and that's pretty much it. So this is the inside of the box, and there's my fabric journal on the inside there. For the lining of the box here, I've just used some beautiful soft silky satin fabric from my stash, and on the bottom here I've used some wadding, you know, like the wadding you put in between quilts and stuff like that. I've cut out a piece of size and stuck that on the bottom so it's nice and soft. Then I've trimmed a piece of fabric that would fit the center of the inner box here. I've gathered, pleated in some areas all the way around the edge, as you guys can see there, and hot glued it at the very top here. And to cover where the glue is, I've just adhered this Chinese skin braid trim from Spotlight all the way at the top there, and it's a perfect size for my fabric journal, as it just goes in there beautifully like that. So really nice keepsake box for this beautiful keepsake lace fabric journal. So I'll pop that away and I'll share with you guys this beautiful fabric journal that I have created. It came out really nice, and you know, I'm just really thrilled and happy with the how it's turned out. And oh, it did take a lot of time, but everything just came together really well. The colors matched, and super happy. So I'll share with you guys the cover. For the basis of the fabric, for the base of the fabric journal, I've used, this time I didn't use calico as I normally would. I've used like a thickish fabric from my stash, which is this one here. You guys can see here, a thickish upholstery fabric that was kind of like quite padded. I used that as my base, and it held the mini album together really well. I didn't have to put wadding inside because it was quite spongy fabric and it was quite soft. So I used that. All in all, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages in total. And this is the front of the cover, and I've used just different laces and fabrics, different trims and whatnots, and I've just gone ahead and embellished that. I won't go into too much detail because it's going to take a long time. There's a lot to cover in this fabric journal. So that's the front cover there. Like I mentioned, scraps are wonderful for these types of projects, as you can just slap whatever down and it'll just blend in, because it's all tattered, really old looking, not too grungy, because grungy is not really, I love grungy. It's not something that, you know, I want to incorporate into this mini album here, fabric journal. That's the front, and this is the back. Just lots of fabric, doilies, and different coordinating patterns. This is sprayed using the 2 colors that I have shared with you guys. Really beautiful earthy sort of tones there. For the charms here, I've used again some more Atta Cake charms from my stash. I've used this big beautiful tassel charm, zoomed in so you guys can see. It's got this beautiful amber color which matches the lace book really well. It's got a crown on top here, crown down the bottom, some pearls, some bling, and beautiful metal findings here also, and just lots of things that came together really well. And something that matched really well also is this beautiful metal nest there with some eggs, and this little birdie, which I don't know, I just love it. And I just tied it, the lighting is really bad, just tied a bow, and then I had just using the links that's already on there, just hook it on. It's really lovely. So that's, and I punched a hole through with using my crocodile through the first and the second page there, and I just looped the fabric and then tied a bow, and then just using the links, open it up and just close it again, and that just dangles off the side there also. Really beautiful. Different laces and trims, crochet trims. Printout is from Pinterest also. And the sentiments that I've put here, the title of my fabric journal just says "Spread your wings and fly." Beautiful tattered flower here, inspired by Lele. Lele has a tutorial on this flower. I've used mother of pearl buttons on the side here. Just a little metal key accent to blend everything in together. Another moth printout, some more laces and fabrics and appliques, and it's just really busy. This book is quite heavy because I had loaded it with lots of lace trimmings and stuff like that, and it's really nice. So, and a bow down the bottom here also. Let me zoom in so you guys can have a better look at the cover. So that's the top where the charms are. There, going down. That's it there. This image is really lovely. And the back, just some beautiful laces and doilies and stuff like that just came together really well. Okay, let's share with you guys the first and second page, the second and third page actually. So as I mentioned, this is the original layout that I had incorporated onto the box, as you guys seen previously. So I took this, I scrap lift this, and I popped it on top of the box. So even though the size is a little bit different, because the box is, as you guys can see there, the top of the lid is actually a lot bigger. I had to add more layers down here, more layers here, and very similar at the top here, but just more layers down this particular part here, as this is a lot smaller, as the fabric journal is smaller there also. So I won't go through too much of that page because it's a repeat of, it's the original repeat of the box. So that's that page. So I've used the fabric, like I mentioned, to use as my base, and then I just adhere different layers of fabric on top of that. So here I have chosen this image that coordinates with the birdie because of the color tones, and then I stuck that down onto this beautiful beautiful fine lace crochet. I won't say it looks like lace, but it's crochet doily, and I had just adhere that down in random places. But before that, I used this trim that I sprayed with the 2 Lindy's onto the side here. This focal background is a dark coloured fabric that's on the same as the one on the box as my base, and then the doily and this image on top, which I have stitched together, as you guys can see the stitching there, and then ruffled some of the muslin and hand stitched, and as well as the beading onto there. Just different collages of fabric here, as well as images of the internet. Beautiful beading that I've actually hand bead onto here, and on this corner here also, different laces and trims from my stash. So I'll closer look for you guys. So that's the bottom. It's really detailed. That's the gathering of the beautiful fabric. So I've hand embroidered this, as well as the beading in, as well as this part here. I've hand embroidered that also, but I didn't add beading into there. And that's the top of it going up there, and the side, that's the lace edging there. So that's that page. Going on to the next couple of pages, these ones have got like a green color, and then this page here has got reds, dark, like deep reds, browns, as well as greens mixed together also. And it looks really bright in the picture, but it's actually a little bit more subtle, though the red does brighten it up and make it pop out. Images are off the internet also. This particular is a birdie one. This particular printout here is just off 2 peonies, 2 red peonies in the background there, and just different layers and collages of fabric, laces and trims and doilies and whatnots onto there. Like I keep saying, great for scrap fabrics, because yeah, see there's scraps there. There's a trim from Rosella. There's pieces of fabric scraps right here that I just cut the bottom to really make it tattered, and just ruffled it and put it underneath this beautiful fabric here that I've assembled. Made a little bud here with some crochet lace, stick some pearls in there, added another crochet doily there, a cameo here, some beads that I actually just hot glued down on there, and just different collages of laces and more muslin gathered here, and stitching also embroidered. But I didn't add any beads there because I added the beads here. So close up of this page, go on to there. Okay, and this is this page. Here I have used another image from the internet. Okay, sorry about that guys, back again, ran out of memory, so I had to recharge again. So this is the next page, really busy, lots of collages with laces and fabrics, image of online again. Here I've created a pocket with a tag that just has some beautiful moths in there, and it says inspire yourself on this side with a little stamp birdie. I just made it really tattered and really you know, old sort of look there. Just lots and lots of scrap from my stash here and here, a bit of applique, lace trim down the bottom, laces on this side here. Forgot to share with you guys the lace that's up here, really beautiful. Some nice crochet or cotton embroidered lace. The lighting is really bad now. It's coming to late afternoon, and they've changed the time here already. So normally it would be like 5:30. It's already 6:30 now because of daylight saving. There's a big glare in the background where the window is. So that's that page. Really, really detailed, like I mentioned. Lots of collages. I stitched that, hand embroidered that, and the beading there, and more embroidery and beading here. Collages with lace and fabrics. A close-up of this page. Added this flower applique, so it looks like the bee, the hummingbird, not the bee, the hummingbird is sucking nectar off the flower, so it's really beautiful. Came together really well there. It's that page. Ruffle some more muslin, bit of bling, bit of metal finding. This particular color scheme suits really well with the gold or the dark antique gold color. There's that page. Going on to there. Okay, going on to the next 2 pages. Really beautiful again. Not too much details because it's really busy. Just laid the background with laces that I've dyed with sprayed with the Lindy's. Framed this picture again with just different coordinating fabrics from my stash. Big doily at the back here. There's a gigantuous one that just goes off the page here onto the next page to form this pocket here. And then this panel on top, and then this panel on top of that. So it's layers and layers and layers of fabric, and layers and layers and layers of laces and trims down the bottom here. Also I've used this beautiful tassel trim, some more Battenberg lace that I sprayed. This is the lace panel. It's like a big round doily, comes off here. Frog feathers trims, metal finding butterfly, that rosette trim again, just a little bit to accent here. I can't remember who sent me these colour lily flowers, but they're kind of like latex. They're kind of sticky. Maybe Matika, I'm not sure. Sorry, I can't remember who you are, but they're so beautiful. I just popped 2 together here. Made it look tattered by tying some seam binding that I've like hand stamped with archival ink with a script stamp. And some jute twine. A little bit of that rosette trim going across here. Just a tattered flower that I've made this spring ages ago following Cynthia Luhu's tutorial where she wrapped the wire. Really beautiful. And I added this metal finding pin here with some metal finding charms that I just dangled across here. Birdcage charm there. Corner filigree there also, and some more laces at the top there. So that's pretty much that page, and I stamped a script onto the corner here also, just to make it, you know, different. So this is a close-up of this page, going down and back up again. So just lots and lots of lovely details. You can easily call this a fabric collage book, because that's pretty much what it is. It's just lots and lots of collages of different laces and fabrics and textures and whatnot. So with this big doily here, I've created a pocket here, and I've continued the pocket with some fabric from my stash going across here. Use this image from the internet, some calicos, some little scraps of fabric there, some muslin just going across there, a little bit of tassel that I just dangled down here, some appliques, doily at the back, a chiffon flower, bit of like a button from my stash. It's metal flower there, some lovely fringing, some crochet lace and more laces on top, and it just holds this beautiful heart tag that Linda from Live Art Now sent to me in our swap. Thank you, Linda. It's so beautiful, and it matches this mini album as well as this page perfectly. You know, when you sent it to me, I didn't have a home for it because I wasn't sure where to put it. I could have hung it up or stuff like that. But when I made this mini album and this pocket, it needed a big tag, and voila, this was the perfect solution, and it just went in there perfectly. It matched everything so well. and Linda embellished it so beautifully with an image of a birdie there also, and all the little, you know, embellishments that she's added here is just perfect. So thank you for that, Linda. And that just goes into this little pocket there. So that's that page. So a close-up look of this page here, like that. It's really hard to get into frame, you know. If you're too far away, you're too far away. If you're too close, you know, you can't really see things properly. But I think this is pretty good here. Before was a bit too far away, I think. So, and the second last page and the last page are these two, like that. Again, just layers and layers of fabric, different trims and embellishments. Lots of layers of lace on the side here, laces and trims down the bottom, metal finding, rosette trim, a beautiful Battenberg doily that I've sprayed with the two colours, Mystic Malachite and Sea Mint Green, a combination of the two. More laces at the top here, more fabric, more trims. At the back of this little birdie here, I've just put a piece of muslin at the back here, and I've ruffled it and gathered it, and then hand embroidered this particular part as well as the beading there. And this part here, I've hand stitched it on my sewing machine, just zigzags going across. Here I've added a cap applique and some broken jewelry right here also, just to accent this page. That's pretty much that page. And on to here, again a humongous doily that I've just made really tattered by spraying it with vintage photos into some water and then just spraying in random areas to give this really dark sort of color. It's just the glare that's making it look really light, but it's not. It's actually a lot darker than in the picture. And then I form a pocket here using some fabrics that I bought from the upholstery place. Made a pocket, put this beautiful tassel dangle charm that's in this beautiful green color. Like I mentioned, I'm not fond of green, but green matches this color scheme really well in this particular project. So it just really depends on what project you're working with. It's like a moss green, so it's really beautiful. I like this moss green. I kind of like trying to make like a nest, pretty much, with this pocket here that holds this huge, humongous tag that I made out of. That's not. I didn't make the tag. I think that tag was sent to me by Irene, Silly Bee Honey Froggy, I think her YouTube channel is. It's just big chipboard tag, and I've just lined it with calico at the back here, and on the front here just again different collages of fabrics and laces and trims. I stamped this image of this birdie, and then it goes into this nest here that I have created, and it's got the sentiment or the word that says shine on there. Some appliques on all these laces here. You can see all these different colors that's sprayed with the two colors from Lindy Stamp Gang. Just some fabric that I had that I just gathered on my sewing machine and just hot glued it down just to accent the top of that tag there. Little buttons from my stash, and a filigree, metal filigree. It's just different fibers, laces and trims from my stash as my little tag tops here also, and that just goes in there perfectly. And again, going across here, I ruffled this fabric and then just ruffle it with my hand as I stitch along it, embroidered along it, and added the beads also afterwards, and added different laces and trims from my stash. I love tassel trimmings, and I've added it down here. It's got beautiful colors to match. So that is pretty much completes my fabric journal that I have created to go inside my box. I just caught a bit of the nest there. And I hope you guys like my project. Sorry it took a while. I do apologize to Janet because I said to her that I was going to upload this weeks ago and I haven't uploaded it yet. So sorry Janet, but I finally managed to upload it, and I hope you do like it also, because you know, you're the other person who likes, that I know, that loves bird inspired projects also, because we follow Susie on the same blog. So I hope you guys like this altered box and lace fabric journal that I have put together, bird inspired. See you guys soon. Bye.